I call David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I sat there incredulous at that speech. The first time the Green Party has voted for a bill in this House is a John Banks Act-led bill. And I couldn't believe that. And I just looked over there, and you look at the faces of David Cunliffe and the young man in front of him, whose name I've forgotten at the moment, David Clark. The leaders of the Labor Party economic team, and their faces when they saw Russell Norman stand up and say he was going to vote for this bill were amazing. They could not believe it. The Labor Party had spent half an hour in this House debating the merits of their economic policy, talking about superannuation, talking about a capital gains tax, deflating the impact of this bill, saying how great their policies were, and then the economic guru of the left stood up and said the bill's a good idea. What's happening? I tell you what's happening. What is happening is that Russell Norman has got a severe case of septicemia because his print and spend policy he's had to reverse. The Labor Party told him that print and spend won't work. It's costing us too many votes out there amongst the public because everybody believes that it's a dumb idea. And so Russell Norman had to run back and come to the media in a recess week and say, look, I've given up on that policy. We're not going to print and spend anymore. But the guru from the left then had to come into this House and make himself look like the economic genius he rates himself as being. And so he wanted to be seen as the economic statesman of the left. And so he came in and supported a government bill on economics. That's what he's doing. Gave us a 10-minute rant on economics, which had no sense or sensibility to it, but that's Russell Norman for you because he knows everything. And then he goes and votes for a John Banks Act bill on economics. Great stuff. You know, that is when you know the Labor Party and the Green Party are in disaster territory when it comes to economic management. And we look forward to that because, you know, this isn't about being reasonable and understanding economics. The Labor Party and Green Party just don't know where they are. The Labor Party and Green Party talk about efficiency and fairness in their capital gains tax. Do they ever go out there and say that when the capital gains tax, they always say these IMF reports say capital gains tax, well, it's a universal capital gains tax that's recommended, not the specific one that the Labor Party is looking at, which exempts the family home, the first family home. So it's not a fair tax. They've got an exemption in it before you even start. If they wanted to have a fair tax, they would tax everybody and anything, but they won't do that. And it's not about fairness. The Labor Party and the Green Party are fighting over economic policy. The guru came into this room again today to put his stamp on it by saying that he is Mr. Economic Reasonableness because he got a big slap around the face last week from the Labor Party. Now the Labor Party are dealing with the monster coming back in a more reasonable state than they thought that they could deal with, and he voted for an Act bill. It's great to see when the Labor Party and the Green Party can't agree on economic policy. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
I call the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, the deep and abiding irony